Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today is Sunday, August 1st, and I cannot believe how fast July went by. Pretty crazy if you ask me. So mini lobster season is over, and it's kind of like the last hurrah. Labor Day weekend isn't as bad down here as it used to be, but so I don't really count that as a major holiday. So what was really a sign yesterday was when I was coming in on Saturday and the lobster pots were already out. I was like, oh boy, here we go again. So fall is arriving. So that's kind of like the signal that the seasons are changing when they start dropping the lobster pots. And also with the lobster pots, I kind of look at that as an indicator time to know that, okay, there's going to be some red groupers out there. And the red groupers started biting some bigger ones. I started picking up a few out there. So I'm using the Mutton Crusher rig. And now is the time for you guys to purchase the spot finding course. So now is the time, okay? It's just, trust me. So if you're going to be successful this winter, and like I said, the fishing's going to change. It always does. I know guys that the fish starts scattering out. People are like, in August, the fishing can get to be really hard. I'm not seeing the normal boats that usually are out there grinding because they don't like to be out there in the heat and they think that the fishing's too hard, so they don't go. So this is where I want my podcast listeners to really know that you can put together an awesome catch of some beautiful, beautiful fish, a few big mutton snappers, but what I really like to target are those really large vermilion snappers, not those short-ass fish. So I want you guys to step it up this year and really look for some big vermies, big ones, like 20-inch fish, nice ones with some big yellow eyes mixed in. So I gave you guys, I think the podcast episode, I'm going to pull it up here really quick. The podcast episode is called Yellow Eye Snapper and Vermilion Snapper Secrets. And I released it on August 12th, 2020. Okay? So it's coming up on a year to date when I released this secret. Now, a lot of you guys like to do the whole chicken rig thing. I absolutely hate fucking chicken rigs. I really do. I do not like them. They're a pain in the ass. They spook fish. When the fish aren't biting, they're just a pain. They're a pain. So when I do a chicken rig, I do a high-low rig. I use 2 hooks. I see a lot of guys put the hooks way too close to the weights, and it's just that kind of stuff. It's going to get you a couple big ones, but it's not going to get you a large fish. So in that podcast, I want you guys to go back and re-listen to it, okay? You got to put in some work for some large fish, okay? You're going to get lucky. You're going to catch a few in here or there. But these fish get pressured now, man. The same guys are hitting the same spots. I see it every day out there. But the secret for you guys that listen to this podcast is that I'm not afraid to share this. I shared it last year. And a lot of people have really short-term memories, I found, is you got to use long leaders. Okay? You got to use long leaders to catch the big ones. I watched some weird stuff, and guys will say, "Oh, they shut off," and all this other stuff. Well, I got to tell you something. So when I had that Rodan trolling motor, which is which I got rid of, and I'm glad I did because I'm catching 10 times more fish since I got rid of it. So yeah, so things happen for a reason, and I'm so happy I'm not using that anymore. So, anyways, I was going to get off track there, but let's stick with what the topic is, and that's catching some big vermies. Vermies. What I learned when I was sitting on anchor is that out on these spots is they shut off on the chicken rigs. The big ones want long leaders. There you go. There's a secret. Every one of those fish you seen me catch in those Instagram photos were caught one at a time. They were not caught on chicken rigs. Well, 4 of them were caught on chicken rigs. The rest of them were caught on long leaders. So, and I feel that a lot of guys draw a lot of, when you're dropping chicken rigs down on spots, you're drawing a lot of attention from the predators that are in the area, like the barracudas, and they're guarding those fish, man. They're like yellowtails. They guard those big schools of big vermies. So when you are dropping chicken rigs, and you catch like 5 or 6. And then you drive through the school again, and they've shut off. And you're like, what the hell? Or you're getting cooted. Most of the time it's cudas or kingfish are eating those fish, or large amberjacks, because they like those as well. So you have to come through there one at a time to pick off the big ones. And that's my challenge to you guys. You're only allowed 5 apiece, man. So why not catch some fish that are actually decent as far as the fillet goes? I mean, the ones we caught, the ones I've been catching are average 20 inches, 18 to 20 inches in size. They're bigger than most of the muttons and almost as legal size as dolphin right now. So we're doing it one at a time. We're using really good fresh bait. I feel that the best bait for vermilions, if they're like really picky, is Speedo. So that Speedo tends to fire up about every fish out there. And one thing you can also use amberjack belly. That works really well out there for those fish. They get really picky. You know, you got to have really good white squid. That works. Works well. Sometimes the bonito, like I said, from spot to spot, the fish will change it up. So sometimes they don't want that red meat. Sometimes they don't want that bonito. It's just not what they want. So fresh ballyhoo works really well, but it's got to be nice and fresh. That works good. Fresh little chunks, they like that. Like I said, amberjack belly. Amberjack roe works really well on those fish. If you're having a hard time getting them fired up, add a little amberjack roe to it. Catch an amberjack, harvest it, take the back straps off, smoke it, take out the roe, and there you go. You got yourself something going on. You can sew on the little pieces of roe. It'll fire them up. They just like that kind of stuff. Fish inherently want to kill other fish as babies, so there you go. They eat all the roe. It fires them up. Sometimes that's what they're eating. So little tiny minnows work really well. You can net those along the beaches. They'll eat the shit out of those. Little mahara, that kind of stuff. You can salt up some silver sides. They like that. That's another thing that you can do, is just load that up with just little minnows. Little silver minnows work really well. Trying to think what else. Yeah, so I want you guys to go back and revisit that podcast. Leader length anywhere from 15 to 20 foot. Sometimes I go as long as 30-foot mutton leaders, okay? So it also can set you up for a large mutton. So just FYI. So yeah, that's all I got, guys. I want you to revisit that podcast. I gave you guys a really good fishing tip there for catching those. My challenge to you guys is to fish less with those chicken rigs. Catch larger fish, okay? Larger fish. And that's the way to do it. So take your time, get lined up. That way you can practice actually making a drift and all that good stuff. Now, if you really, really want to hammer them, you need to purchase the mutton snapper course as far as a couple different things. So you need to purchase the spot finding course now. That's really going to come into play this time of year, and that's available on my website in courses. And purchase the mutton crusher rig, and then your vermi count is going to go up, and you are going to catch them really large. Just saying, I just gave you guys a golden ticket. So that's all I got. Again, revisit that podcast. The name of the podcast is Yellow White Snapper and Vermilion Snapper Secrets. And that was published on August 12th, 2020. You got to dig back through it. And make sure that you guys download the Good Karma Sport Fishing app as well. And I'm trying to doing my best to get the reports up. But I got to tell you, man, I've been extremely busy, and I got a lot of stuff going on. I fished almost every day this month. And bottom fishing trips are a lot of work. More work than you can even imagine if you're going to do it right. So that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great Sunday. Be safe out there this week. Hope everybody catches some fish and get some big-ass vermilions, man. And don't let anybody tell you that they're not biting. Go in there with long leaders, and you're going to look like a hero. That's all I got. Follow me on Instagram, Good Karma Sport Fishing _FL_keys. Actually, you can join up with my private Facebook group if you want. It's a cool little community. I post some reports in there from time to time, and other guys like to share their catches in there as well. Instagram. Check out my website for current rates and policies and all that other good stuff, and also publications that I've been in and some videos on my new video page. That website link is goodkarmasportfishing.com. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good. Thanks, guys.